Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Radiomaster T8 Pro. It comes in this sealed box. So this guy's main problem is going to be the Jumper T-Lite, which has a similar price point but has more specifications. So on paper at least it seems like you wouldn't go for this one, you'd go for the Jumper T-Lite. Now I should say that Jumper never sent me the T-Lite. In fact, ever since I reviewed the TX18, I think it was called, which was Jumper's version of the Radiomaster TX16S, I said that that radio wasn't very good, it wasn't very good quality, and I had loads of custom charges when they sent it, and I asked if they could refund them. They never replied to my emails ever again. So I think one of the things that you do get with Radiomaster is there's good communication, and they do go the extra mile actually. You know, the TX16S is my current radio, and even with this package they have sent me some stickers for my channel. Now I'm not going to let that sort of sway my opinion on a product, but I think as a company I'm way more invested in Radiomaster than I am with Jumper. That being said, there are some confusing choices with this radio. Perhaps it's the case that, you know, Radiomaster are directly competing with Jumper, and, you know, the guys from Jumper and Radiomaster were the same company and then they parted ways, and I think when it came to the TX16S, Radiomaster wanted to go for quality and Jumper wanted to go for features, so they had the long-range FR-Sky system built into it, but the quality wasn't quite there. But I guess now there's been some kind of separation between Jumper and Radiomaster. You know, neither company knows what the other one is up to, and in this scenario I think Jumper just did a better job with the T-Lite. Now I don't have one, however I have held one in my hands. The only thing that I can sort of say is a positive with this radio, the T8, is that I prefer the tension on the gimbals. Now I'm somebody who likes a lot of stick tension, and some quad pilots, they like their gimbals to be really loose, and the T-Lite was too loose for me. But in terms of features, the T-Lite wins hands down. I think the only other thing that this guy does better, and this is the Pro version, is that we've got these labels on this screen here, so it's actually easier to navigate OpenTX. And also they've sent this in a Mode 1 version as well, although I'm not sure. You'll have to check the links in the description, because I fly Mode 1, you know, it's quite a rare thing. So yeah. So I have to say actually that screen is very bright and it's detachable. So you only get this screen with the Pro version. Those are the good things. So, you know, nice gimbals. They are Hall sensor gimbals as well. The sticks are a little bit plasticky, but you know, this is what, like an $80 radio. So I'm not expecting miracles from it. Doesn't look like we can adjust any tension or anything like that on the back. What have we got here? Sort of like some legs. Yeah, it looks like we've got some legs on the back. I have to say, from the pictures of this guy, it looked really plasticky, but in the hands it's actually not bad at all. And I'm not a big fan of these tiny controllers because, you know, I've got fairly large hands, ladies, and so I really struggle. I've also got quite shaky hands as well, and I tend to find that the bigger radios sort of hold me more steady kind of thing. Let's see about the weight. Yeah, so I think, yeah, with this hanging out the front there, it dips forward, but this does go flat like that. I'm not sure. No, you wouldn't want to fly like that though, because the sticks get in the way. So let's talk about some of the not so great things about this guy compared to the T-Lite at least. So yeah, this screen folds down, but there is a bit of a gap. I guess not such a big problem if you are just using it, you know, to compact down to be smaller. We've got these low profile switches here rather than the full size switches on the T8, which, you know, in my experience they don't break as easy, but I do prefer the feel of a larger switch. This screen then is attached on the back like a module, but you can't put any extra modules on there. This is just for the screen, so you can't use crossfire on there, which you can on the Jumper T8. You can't use any modules, and one of the big downsides is, just like the Jumper TX12, it only has the one RF chip in there rather than the 4-in-1. It's the FrSky chip, no FlySky, no DSMX, which I think is a big mistake because there's a lot of people coming from the Spectrum world to perhaps FrSky, and you know, so if they've got models, you know, a lot of the Horizon hobby models and stuff like that, you can't use this transmitter with. The battery is internal. It's a 1S 1000 milliamp hour, although actually it's two batteries down here, and it is a removable plug on the batteries, but the T8 has the 18650 that you can just plug in there. So you can charge it from here. So got USB Type-C, which charges the internal batteries. But, you know, if you are having problems with the batteries or need to replace them because they've gotten worn out, then you will have to take the thing apart. So we've got a cover here for an antenna, but it's just blank. So again, the T8 has got an SMA connector and a separate antenna, so you're fully relying on the antenna in here, which is fine. You know, you'll be good to get the full FrSky range, you know, which may be half a kilometer or something like that, but again, not very expandable. There's also a micro SD card slot there. It doesn't come with a micro SD card, so you know, that's for OpenTX. And on the other side, it isn't labeled, but I would imagine that is the trainer port. So yes, you can see that it says trainer port there and DIY antenna port. So I guess that is if you want to put in your own antenna and module. Why would you do that when we've already got the Jumper? You know, like I say, for me, it's just the gimbals and the better buttons on the screen with this guy, and also the fact that it's a little bit bigger. But a lot of people with these smaller radios, they'll want them smaller, so you know, that's just my opinion on that one. There is a physical bind button on this guy, which you're not going to need if you've got the screen, because you would bind through the screen on OpenTX. So I guess this is if you have the non-pro version, but to me it kind of confirms that it's really a radio designed to work in conjunction with and sort of ready to fly kit. In the box you're given a blanking plate if you aren't using the screen, which, well, you're going to be, aren't you? And you get the manual, which is in English and then Chinese, and a USB Type-C connector. So, you know, I can see myself flying with this guy, but I think when you sort of spec everything up and look at the prices, if you're in the market for a radio like this, you would just go for the Jumper T8. So I think that's what I would recommend. You know, it's a very niche thing that this radio is going for. I like how it feels in my hands, and sometimes it is just how a radio feels in your hands, whether you would go for it or not. And this one feels better to me, but I prefer a bigger radio. You know, like the Tango 2 is my radio for, you know, this kind of form factor. But other than that, yeah, the T8 is the one to go for. I'll put a link in the video description as well as a pinned comment if you wish to get one, and as always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.